What is up, everybody? It is your boy, Agile Cupcake, and I'm back for another episode of Agile Cupcake Unedited. I have a headset on, which means ding, 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 you guessed it. Time for another guest. We have another 15 minutes or so coming up right now. There was some weird issues with the sound last time. I got a few comments, some feedback. I also was unhappy with it. So until I can afford a microphone, because I'm a broke ass, because we're in the middle of a world pandemic, I'm using my gaming headset. What's up? Yeah. So today's guest. Oh man, I am excited. He's on my fucking t-shirt. Um, he is a longtime friend of mine. He used to sing for a band called The World We Knew. I've mentioned him multiple times on my other episodes. It is my good friend, the one and only Frank fucking Finelli. Frank, how we doing, my man?
I'm just looking suave over here. I just
You are?
ordered Chipotle. I'm
You-
paying people out right now, and we're having a
oh,
good day.
oh, are you making it rain?
I mean, virtually,
Yeah, yeah. Excellent, excellent. Okay,
virtual currency.
well, Frank, thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Of
Um,
course, man.
as I mentioned earlier, like 30 seconds ago, you and I have been friends for a while now. Um, you're straight edge. I'm not. You probably remember when we first met. I definitely fucking don't. Um, that's okay though. I'm with it. I'm with it. Um, so I guess let's get right to the point. First off, we'll do this episode backwards than how I had planned. So,
Sure,
okay, so guys I've mentioned on a few of my episodes, the For the Nomads project. It's now a website, forthenomads.org. You can see it scrolling across the bottom of the screen there. Um, Frank is a tour manager and a merchandise manager and a VIP meet and greet manager for all sorts of incredible bands. I mean, I've seen Frank out with Pennywise, CKY, Black Veil Brides, blah blah blah. List goes on and on and on and on and on and on. Frank tours year round. So whereas I got displaced with a lot of my income and problems um, because of being a manager and especially for being a promoter, Frank, he can't tour. No one's touring. So who's he going to go gig for? Who's he going to go work for? So Frank started a little thing called forthenomads.org. Frank, why don't you tell us about that? What the point behind it is, how you came up with the idea, and all that.
sure. So 6 weeks ago, I found out that the next 4 months of my touring schedule and career, essentially, got canceled because of what's going on in the world right now. I don't really need to dive into that too much because everybody kind of knows. But every tour on the planet basically got canceled, and this is what I do all year round. I've been touring for 14 years, so to say that this is like it's disheartening and pretty rough on my career going forward is like almost an understatement. So basically, I started for the nomads.org, which is a donation platform to give back to the tour and crew members of the industry like myself who are out of work right now. So we got a formula in place that basically allows people to send us their application and prove themselves as touring professionals with like I said, proof just in general, whether it's from the management team, the band themselves, whoever
Yeah,
hired them, and
yeah,
their
yeah.
references. So 6 weeks ago, we launched that as just a GoFundMe called the Nomad Fundraiser. And I mean, within the first 6 hours, we hit our $10,000 goal, and and I think at the end of the day, we went up to 13,000 or something like that,
Yeah, I
just in
mean,
the first 24 hours.
you had like Kevin Lyman from Warped Tour. Some of the dudes from Korn donated and shared about it. Like you had like a lot of people that were behind and understanding your point, like real quick, right?
It seemed that way, yes. It was it. What started as something I thought 10K was a lot. Just
Yeah,
it's a lot of money for anybody who is in a position like ours. It's like I'm not saying we're making peanuts on the road, but in the grand scheme of things, we just thought, well, if we can make a couple of donations here and there, we can pay out at least our immediate crew member friends. And I was more importantly just like looking after my guys in the Black Veil team that I was about to go out with, just our
yeah,
crew members. And I thought, well, if this can get as big as we hope it can, then we can help more people, and we can help more crew members that want to get involved here and spread the word around. And just just a little while ago, I was starting to pay out over 130 to 150 different crew members
Yeah.
worldwide, because we've reached already $36,000 just in a couple of weeks. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. I saw that. Yeah. Yeah. You hit that last night, right?
Yes, I did. I did another live stream with somebody, and
Yeah.
uh,
You were on
on
the big shred, right?
yeah,
With,
yeah.
with the boy
I,
John. Yeah.
I called it the Tonight Show.
I didn't get a chance to tune in. I like saw it like after the fact. I was like, damn it, why didn't I didn't see that. So
Yeah.
I
So
was also, slinging dog food to rich people at the old day
hey,
job yesterday. So
if I had, I'm not saying that I don't have the ability to go get a regular job right now, because I'm not above it at all.
yeah.
But I'm so deep into what we're doing right now,
Oh
and
yeah.
seeing the success of it grow, that I don't want to do anything else. I'm okay on the back end right now. I have a savings, so this is more so for
Good.
everybody else that may not be in my position.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. So, well, that's awesome. So, I mean, yeah, I was gonna say you've been doing like Instagram live from like your personal Instagram with guests, having people talk about it, and getting getting those people to say to donate. I know, like you said, you were just on that live stream last night. Podcast, I
Yeah.
think it's a podcast technically, right? Yeah, he records it all.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then it
yeah,
went up on a switch. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of that.
yeah. And then I know that you've been having all sorts of people join you and stuff. So like, I know you're probably going to keep doing more of that. So everybody that's watching this, find Frank on Instagram. It's just it's at FG Finelli, right, Frank?
Uh, that's that's um that's Twitter. FG Finelli is on Twitter, and
Ah,
Instagram is Frank TWWK,
oh,
and
that's
then
right.
For the Nomads on Instagram as well.
Yeah,
I
yeah. And
tried
I'll
to
post.
avoid I tried to avoid making socials for all this, and then it got like to the point where we had so much different content
Yeah, well,
from
and
different partners.
you probably got overwhelmed by people just tagging you all the time.
Yeah,
So
because like I want to repost everything, but it's hard. I don't want to bombard anybody, and people get annoyed with me either. I want to, this is a
yeah.
very difficult thing that I'm doing right now,
Well,
because
and yeah. You're if you put it in black and white, you're asking for people in a pandemic to support other people, and like
yeah.
human beings are nasty. So I'm sure a lot of people have told you to fuck off, or at least thought about it. You know what I mean?
I'm
Like,
sure they've at least thought about it. Most people have at least been pretty nice about it.
oh, well,
But
that's good. Well, I mean,
yeah,
everybody kind of. I think a lot of people, especially you've been doing this so long. I think most people that are going to be aware of your like center in life are going to know what you do and why it's such a big fucking deal, and like
yeah.
why this is an important thing.
Yeah, we're trying so hard to make sense of it all as it's coming at us.
Hmm.
It's just a two-person team. It's myself and my best friend Tatiana, who also is a crew member. Um, we're just pedal to the metal on the whole situation.
Yeah.
I see no stop as long as people want to come along for the ride with us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, and I think the nice thing is like like I mentioned a little bit ago here, like Kevin Lyman, the guy who founded Warp Tour, is like completely behind your projects and supports it. Like the dudes, didn't one of the dudes in Corn like donate money already, right? Or I know
I
they.
I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, I don't know. I heard that, or like one of them reposted it or something. I don't know. I heard that through the grapevine somewhere. I don't know. I know you're not allowed to tell who gives you money, which is fine. I don't care. But the fact of the matter is, like, the fact that people are even making up rumors like that's good, because I know for a fact that most bands would be supportive of their team in that way. You know what I mean? As should be, managers. I mean, I am. You know what I mean? I can't tell you how many times like having a band come through might have been a much more painful process if they didn't have like a great TM or a good road crew to help with change offs, or like, there's the whole you know, Twitter's favorite subject of like merch rates and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But when you have like a good person like yourself on the I mean, how many shows have we done together? You know what I mean? Where it
A
was
lot.
like it could have been like, oh, you want a merch kit? Fuck you. Oh, you want a case of beer? Fuck you. And we just like worked it out. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it was just easy because, well, A, we get along, but B, you're like a respectful person. You're like chill about it. You're not, it's not just like you're not just waving around your big stick everywhere. because you're there with the band or whatever, and I mean, being somebody who toured for a long time, like, I was on the road for not anywhere near as long as you, but like I did it for like 5 years, and like when you do a good job, the bands appreciate you, and I don't think fans, like people watching this that don't understand the behind the scenes, like the bands are able to be more sane and focus on their craft of putting on a good ass live show for them because of people like you.
Yeah, they definitely have to worry less with a crew behind them for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, which I think is why it's important, and that's why I think what you're doing is important, because I feel like some people are probably like, "Oh, yeah, like, oh, that's probably just like the band's friend that tours with them," and it's like, no, like there are people that have that as a career. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I know when I toured all the time, even my friends that went to shows, they didn't get it. They'd be like, "So what are you doing for the band?" And I'm like, "Oh, like I handle their finances. I make sure they get paid. I make sure they get fed. I make sure they're to the venue on time." And they're like, "Oh, so you're a babysitter?" I'm like, "Oh, sure, whatever. But I get paid more than most other babysitters, though." So,
Yeah, it's a situation where the reason why this is crew members only for right now, we're building a platform to where we can allow others in. But the reason why it's crew members right now is because the bands have a fan base that
mhm.
we don't have access to in the grand scheme of things. You know
Well,
what I
correct.
mean?
No, I mean,
Yeah,
that's not even in the grand. Just period. You don't
yeah.
like
It's
there are very few people that are like merchandise gurus, whatever you want to call it, that like break that ceiling, and they shouldn't be trying to be. If you're one of those people and you're watching this, shame on you. But you know what I mean. Like you're there to like, I'm sorry, I hate that when people are like, oh, like I'm a figure in the industry. It's like, no, dude, you're a fucking front of house engineer, or you're a
yeah.
fucking merch guy. Like that's cool that like people dig you and you're funny and maybe you have a good personality or whatever, but like yeah, you understand your little world of the music industry, but then anyways, that's a negative rant we don't need to go on right now. Um,
Yeah, this is
but
this,
yeah,
this is the first myself in front of a camera, so to speak, in a long time. But it's not. I'm trying. Like I can't. I can't stress enough. This isn't for me. Like
yeah,
this isn't for my brand or whatever. I guess in the long run it could be or something like
yeah,
that. But I'm literally trying to pay out hundreds of crew members worldwide that need actual help because I was in a position at a younger point in my life and younger point in my career where I couldn't afford things uh, in general, let
if you,
alone
yeah,
let alone during a pandemic when I wasn't able to work. Like
exactly.
this is all I've done for 14 years.
Hmm.
I've had maybe two jobs outside of this ever in my life, and
Yeah,
I'm in my 30s now. So it's like that goes to show you I'm okay for right now, but the 21-year-old version of me is not okay. Is
yeah,
not okay in a situation like this, and wasn't okay even when I was touring. I was just kind of trucking
yeah,
along because I didn't care. I had less of a
yeah.
problem giving a shit back then. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, like, dude, I'm friends with a lot of the bands that I've booked over the years, but like, I have some of my closest friends in the industry are like people that don't play music.
Yeah,
I can. Oh, Bowie's mad at something. Sorry about that. Um, like you, Josh Richards, EJ
yeah,
Shannon, Thaddeus, like I love all four of you guys like so much. I have so much respect for you guys as people. uh, the hard work you do, like you're always on the road, you're making it work, and like it's not easy to do that. It takes a physical toll on you, like moving around all the time, being in a different city every night. Like your sleep schedule is God knows what. You know what I mean? So like it I'm glad you're doing this. Like I know it's not about you, and that's why I wanted to have you on so you could like talk about it and express that a little bit. You know what I mean? Because it's like some people probably have heard me talk about it and they're like, I don't get it, you know.
yeah.
But
It's
you know,
it it's it's hard to understand from an aspect of people on the outside looking in probably just assume that we're absolutely taken care of from bands when even when you're off tour because they just don't know, and
yeah,
that's fine. It's just not the case. Everybody that I've worked for has taken care of me while we're on the road, but it's not. I'm an independent contractor, and so
yeah,
are most of everybody that's involved with this right now. Everybody that we're paying out, nobody's on retainer.
yeah,
Nobody gets an income when they're not touring. It's just most of us probably don't even have a health insurance. I don't. So like I don't have a 401k or anything like that. So
Same.
this is just a situation that we put together that happened to work, to where we can probably pay out several hundred different crew members a little bit so they can take care of a little bit of their issues that they're having during the situation.
Yeah,
So
which is,
unless,
that's awesome. That's like, there's not enough, some of my earlier videos with like the pandemic and how to cope and deal, like we have to get through this together. Like we're the same species,
yeah,
like religion, color of our skin, dietary needs, sexual preferences, whatever. Like it doesn't matter. We're all on the same planet. So I've been very excited to have you on the show ever since you said yes to me a couple weeks ago, because like, I feel like you might not like preach some of that like cheesy positivity like I do sometimes. You know what I mean? But like you still believe in like us working together and us coming together. And I mean like you started something to do that. You know what I mean? Like not a lot of people can say like, "Hey, my peers are fucking suffering, so I am going to be the person, or I have this idea and I want to try to help them." Everybody will say, "Oh, like yeah, that'd be great." Like I have a group chat that's full of promoters, and all of us are like, "Well, no one gives a shit about us." But
yeah.
none of us have gone out and tried to make a GoFundMe for us. Also, I'm sure all of our scenes would rip us apart if we did that, but that's not the point. You know what I mean? So, but
I've gotten some of that. Don't worry. I mean,
oh, I'm sure.
I don't publicize it for
Well,
the
yeah, of
reason
course.
that you don't need to, but I've had people that are higher up than me in this industry try to get the word out or sorry, try to get the scoop from me about who it was, and I still haven't brought it up because
I
there's
don't,
no
and
need.
I'm not even gonna
All,
bring it. I don't care. You know what I
all
mean?
you got to do, well, just to go further with that is all you have to do is for anybody who's potentially standing in your way or telling you that you're lame for doing something like this is just to prove them wrong with your action.
Exactly.
You don't have to specify what it is or who they are, or et
Yeah.
cetera. Right now, right before I got on this stream here, I was paying people hundreds of dollars, and many of them strictly just because this idea happened to work. That's it. I don't have to do anything else.
Yeah.
I'm physically doing what I said I was going to do,
Hmm.
just on a larger fashion that I thought I was going to be.
Yeah. Which is awesome.
And that's all it is. I just had an idea. I'm not a fucking influencer. I don't have thousands and thousands and thousands of likes and followers and things like
Yeah.
that. I'm none of those things. I don't even play in the band anymore. I did that in, like, I call it my past life.
Yeah.
It's just I had an idea and got a lot of people together to spread that idea. Not willing. I didn't force them to do so. They did it on their own free will, and here we are weeks later, and we're still talking about it. We're still doing it. I'm still
Yeah.
paying people out, and still getting people on board.
Well, yeah,
So
like because you went from a GoFundMe, and then now you have a full blown website with like social accounts and all that, and
yeah,
you went from the goal of 10 grand to, you said you hit 36 last night, right?
last
Again,
night
yeah.
36.
So it's like, dude, that's incredible. Like, I'm sure all those people appreciate it. Haters be damned. You know, uh, everyone's always everyone's always going to find something to hate. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like that's the way anybody trying anything new that's creative, whether it benefits people like what you're doing or not, you know what I mean? Someone's always going to have something to say. There's always that person that wants to bring you or your idea down because, they suck, or they're ugly, or they're uncreative, or they just smell like shit or something like that. You know what I mean? Like there's always a reason, or they don't like wrestling or something, like, you know what I mean? Like they're
yeah.
just, at which point in time they're a coward, but that's not the point. You know, well, I thank you for coming on and talking about it. Unfortunately, we have to swerve directions a little bit because
Yeah, yeah.
the show is called Joel Cupcake Unedited, and these segments I'm having with guests are a way to get to know the guests. So, like, I know you said that was your past life, but like, I want, you're. It's not that you're not an open book, but like, you're a soft spoken person. Like you don't use that many words. You know what I mean? Like we talk a lot, but we've grown our friendship. It's taken many years,
Sure.
and like I just feel like there's not enough people in the world that know the Frank I know. You know what I mean? So like let's how did this all how did you make the switch from like, hey, you were singing in a band, and then I know the world we knew you guys broke up, or I don't know if you were one of those hiatus bands or just kind of fizzled out. I don't remember. Maybe you got fucked over by somebody in the industry. That's your time frame that happened to a lot of metalcore bands, like the time frame you guys were around.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of bands tried to make the jump to be a bigger band, and it was like, oh wow, some dude just like here took my career and went, you know what I mean? So I don't remember what happened to you guys, but like, what made you want to make the switch to staying on the road? Like, because you're not doing music, but you're still on the road. Like, and if you got over, your past life, as you called it, but that's still a part of it. The being on the
Oh
road,
yeah.
the traveling, you can't not really like think back. Like we all have tour stories. You know what I mean?
So I started the world we knew in 2004,
Okay.
and I always said that if we started maybe 2 years earlier, we would be in a different position than we were. And I'm not saying we would have been a big deal or anything like that, but I just think if we started touring 2 years earlier than we started actually touring, I think things would have been different.
Okay.
That's besides the point. I started in 2004. I was a sophomore in high school. Yeah, I was a sophomore in high
Wow.
school, and we started touring when I was a senior. We did my very first tour when I was 17 in February-ish of 2006.
Oh damn.
And
I always forget that you're younger than me. And then like the other day when you posted how old you turn on your birthday, I was like, man, get out of
yeah,
here.
a little bit, but I'm old. I'm old at heart. I've done a lot.
Oh, you and me both, brother.
My back tells me that I'm old.
Yeah, yeah, it's the knees for me, but I know
Yeah.
what you mean. So, anyways, continue. Sorry, sorry.
So so I started we started touring in 2006 and we got signed in 2007, maybe early 2007.
Okay.
That kind of escapes me. It's long, it's history, you know.
Oh, trust me,
Yeah.
dude, I did like a couple episodes back. I did like a two-part of like my history and then like how Pat from Arsonist gave me the nickname Joel Cupcake and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And man, like telling that story was so spotty because I just like between like the late nights, you don't sleep well on tour, and then like, I unfortunately have the affliction where I drink a lot. You know what I mean? Like, and then also getting old, I'm like, shit, I don't remember like half the stuff I want to talk about,
Yeah.
So
So
I feel you. I feel you.
yeah. So got signed in 2007, and then we put out our first record with Seven Dagger Records, and we really like went gung ho. We went really deep into touring, and without giving the whole history of the
Yeah,
band or whatever, we signed to two other labels after that. We released two other records, and we toured fucking forever. I
yeah, I
remember
remember that.
remember Josta when we signed to Stillborn, Jamie from Hatebreed.
Yeah.
He made a poster for like promotional posters for the CD, and
Hmm.
it had our picture, it had our logo, it had the album art or whatever, and it said "On Tour Forever" because he said this band literally never stops touring. It's on tour forever, and
Yeah,
I don't have it in my room right now, but I don't want to see my face on my own fucking walls. But
yeah. No, I know how
um,
that. Trust me, I know how that
it's
goes.
crazy. Anyway, but towards the end, I can't pinpoint it to any particular instance of why it didn't work out the way we wanted it to, but um, the last label that we had and the last record did pretty well, but the label fell apart and disbanded, like dissolved, I guess, and they got bought out by somebody else.
Which label was that again?
Blackheart Group.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Molotov Solution, No Bragging Rights. Uh,
Destruction of a
sure,
Rose.
yeah.
That
There's
band
there's,
from Vegas. Yeah.
there's a slew, yeah.
Yeah.
And we were one of those bands, and we figured, I was like, well, do we write a fourth record and look for a fourth record label this far into our career, 9 years?
Yeah.
And we were doing okay. Like we were in between booking agents as well and management. Like we switched a lot throughout the years.
Yeah.
And I was still booking tours at that time. And I just
I
did,
remember.
I didn't know
I think that's why we know each other.
it's possible. I
Because I
just,
think I booked Shy Halud with you. The first time I booked
yeah,
Shy Halud, I think was
yeah,
with you.
yeah,
And I remember being like, I think we didn't know each other. I think I was like, you don't know me, but you have to let me book this band because it's Shai Halud. I'm pretty sure that's how like the email conversation started. I might still have it. I'll look after we get off this call, but I
Cool.
think I might still have like our first interaction. But sorry, yeah. So
Yeah.
you were an agent yourself at the time.
Yeah. I hated doing it. Um, I don't think I've ever had a job I've hated more than booking. Um,
Yeah.
it was just very stressful to me, and I really don't like relying on other people to do the job that they should be done, you know?
Hmm.
So I didn't want to do that anymore. So I didn't want to book. I didn't want to book our own tours. I didn't want to potentially do a fourth record and then not find a label that like I felt was worth the time that we put into already our career at the time, you know?
Fair.
So I know I was getting offers to start tour managing other bands because I was slowly doing that in between our like World We Knew tours
Yeah.
anyway. And then I also started Cat Clothing, which is my clothing company. And this is 2012, right? So um, I had a couple of different avenues of income coming in, and most of them wasn't because of
Of
the
the
World We
band.
Knew. Yeah,
Yeah.
and because that's hard, that's very very difficult,
Hmm.
especially in like a smaller metal band or whatever. um it's towards the end we would, you know, we'd pay each other out and whatnot at the end of each tour, and we were okay on the road. But as a 20 something year old trying to build your life, it's not necessarily the greatest for your mental health when you come home from a tour after 6 weeks. You pay your rent, and then you like have $100 for groceries, and then you're just hoping that it lasts, like that kind of
Yeah.
situation, you know? So I was getting those offers to tour manage and things like that. And uh, one popped up across my desk. A booking agent friend of mine needed a tour manager for Bam Margera.
Hmm.
And it was for money that I've like never seen before in my life. And I
Yeah.
couldn't fathom how I could be getting that paid that specific number
Yeah.
weekly. It just didn't make sense to me. And I was just like, all right. And I went up. Tim and I lived together. Tim was my guitar player
Yeah.
in The World We Knew, and he now plays in Fit for an Autopsy.
Yeah.
Tim lived upstairs, and I basically went upstairs. I remember I knocked on his door, and I was like, hey, I don't know if it's worth putting forth the effort that we have put in already for another record and search for another batch of people that probably don't give a shit, like as far as a management team. And like
Yeah.
it wasn't, I thought that we like were deserving of something else and more. Now, being 7 or 8 years later since I had this conversation, I don't think we deserved anything. We worked hard, but we don't deserve anything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Music industry doesn't owe us anything at all. It's just business. It just is what it is.
Yeah. It's just the machine,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Like
Yeah.
most people don't realize that soon enough in their career.
Yeah.
But
By at that time, I was just like, wait, fuck it. Come on, we worked our asses off. Why don't we get this? It is what it
yeah.
is. But I was just like, I'm getting some offers to do some shit. Like, I don't see how this makes sense to potentially just get shut down a bunch and then just be miserable the whole time about it. And then maybe we really release something ourselves. And it was a different time of
Yeah.
the music industry. So he agreed, and we were like, all right, well, let's plan a last tour. Let's do a last show. And long story short, in March 2013, we played our very last show in Long Island, where we're from. And show was great. It was sold a lot of tickets, and we did fine, and it was awesome. Whatever. Um, the very next day, and this was planned, of course. The very next day, I literally got on a flight, a very very early flight, flew to Canada, and started the BAM tour. Not even 12 hours or whatever after I got off
Yeah.
stage my very last show, and made more money right away than I ever did with the band. And got on a tour bus for the very first time. Like all these things just from being like, all right, I'm gonna have to put my musical career on the back burner for maybe a little while. At least that was the
Yeah.
plan. I didn't know what I was gonna do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then here we are 7, 8 years later, and I'm still I'm a tour manager, merchandiser, lights,
Yeah.
VIP coordinator, production manager, depending on what I'm hired for. It's just
Yeah. Yeah. I
it
mean, so
seemed to work out. Yeah,
who are some? I know that you are the last person on the face of the planet that likes to brag about anything, but like, who are some bands you've gone out? You say you've done BAM. We already talked about Black Veil. Like
yeah,
I mentioned that I've seen you out with CKY, right? And
yeah. So
um, and Pennywise, which is to me that's like holy shit. Like you went
Yeah.
on tour with Pennywise. Like I was kind of freaking out when we were hanging out in their trailer. Remember when I went to come
Yeah,
visit
yeah,
you?
of course.
I was like, and one of the dudes came out and said something to you, and I was just like, I got home and I was like, babe, I saw Frank. I got some Pennywise. He's on tour with Pennywise. Like,
Yeah. So, I mean, you just named a few. Recently, it's been Black Veil, it's been Pennywise. Um, in the past, Hatebreed, CKY, like you said, JID, Earth Gang, Yellow Wolf.
oh, dude, I loved all those videos when you did that Yellow Wolf tour, and you had to like help DJ or help open one of the nights or something.
Yeah,
And it's just
very.
you in a fucking ski mask, and I was like,
Yeah,
oh, this is so good, dude.
I
Like,
I DJ'd, quote unquote, because I didn't know how to DJ. It's a whole different story. But I
yeah,
DJ'd in 3 countries for Yellow Wolf. So
I love that.
that was my international DJing career for all of a couple of weeks. We did Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, and I was under a ski mask, and they called me Frankie Fingers, which kind of relates to. So the reason I did the ski mask on the we didn't even get into that. For anybody who donated to the for the nomads.org cause, $20 or more, we gave them a Merch Daddy T-shirt, which basically has a very crazy picture of me in a ski mask.
Yeah.
And the reason why I wanted to do the ski mask was because I didn't want the attention to necessarily be on me or anything like that.
You mean like it is in this picture of
Yeah,
you
that one.
just holding money?
Yeah, that one was for my own personal gain.
Oh, I know.
Several years ago. What we're doing now is all the shirt. I didn't want me to be the focal point.
No. I agreed.
And then I also used it like it's the Frankie Fingers character technically in the fucking ski mask on the shirt. Anyway, so that ties in. So Yellow Wolf. Who else? We the Kings. I've done Chelsea Grin. I've done For All Those Sleeping when they were around. Sepultura. I've done Amur for a really long time. It's funny we didn't talk about that yet. Amur I did for a really long time.
That was like when I think like because we were already friends, but I think there's a couple times we came through with Amur, and then like we're both in that wrestling group on Facebook. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think like those two things, like really, like I feel like that's when we started to get a lot closer.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it wasn't like I wasn't just like that crazy drunk dude you saw like every 6 months. Like we actually like had conversations, did a little business together. Like I've definitely matured a lot in the last couple of years. You know what I mean? Like as far as like on a mental like adult level, I guess. You know, because I was always just like that dude that just like loved throwing shows, and that's what I did, and I
Yeah,
partied, and I know that. I mean, I can admit my own. I don't want to say it's a flaw per se, but
yeah, no, I came through there with Amir a bunch of times for sure.
yeah.
And I do remember hanging out at least once or twice while we were around. I think it was the After Burial tour and
Mm-hmm.
some headliner that we did. Maybe it was the Stick to Your Guns headliner, or we were headlining, but I don't really remember. It kind of all blends together.
Yeah.
Who else? Oceano, I did for a little while.
Oh yeah.
I did
I love those
Disney on
guys.
Ice, Disney on Ice for a little while.
Oh, I remember that when
Yeah.
you told me you were going out with Disney on Ice. I was like, all right, just
I've,
this sick tattooed dude, probably wore a Hatebreed shirt every night, just working for Disney, dude. Love it, dude.
it was entertaining to say the least. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, after 14 years, I've kind of tried to go across many different genres and platforms just to grow my career as much as I possibly can. There's I didn't think there was ever a ceiling. There's no really ceiling, and it's kind of showing me that now.
Yeah.
The more I work at something, it kind of just works in my favor. I don't have a whole lot of quit in me. I've noticed. I may have I may have broken up the band or whatever, but and this is a long time ago, but we didn't fail. We toured for a really long time and we achieved things that a lot of bands don't get to achieve. I got to tour with my favorite bands on multiple occasions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like things like that don't happen to a lot of bands. And we broke up because it wasn't feasible anymore for what we had planned for ourselves.
Yeah.
That's fine. But
well, then I had my information backwards when I spoke earlier. Sorry.
So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just the more I grow as a person, the more I realize that I've put a lot into the things that I really care about, and it seems to be working.
Yeah.
So I hope that if anybody is paying attention to what we're saying or what we're talking about, that if they have some kind of idea or want in something they love, they want to do something that they love. Maybe it's for a career or a living or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Even just trying something new for the first time, like you're doing it right now. This is all
Yeah.
new. This is all new to you. There's no reason not to try.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
my
And yeah.
best.
And it's luckily I've had a lot of positive feedback, and that makes this like a whole lot better because I was like pretty nervous about doing this, and like the whole like having to watch myself every time, and then like I don't even review most of the episodes because I keep saying this on all of these episodes, but like I hate the sound of my own voice. I think most of us do, but like so it's been good, and like the feedback's been positive. Somebody told me yesterday I have a great voice for radio, and I was like, no one's ever told me that or anything like that. The only compliments I ever get about my voice are that like if I close my eyes, you sound like Vince Vaughn. That's the only thing you know what I mean? Like
Are
so
you
yeah,
sure? Are you sure they didn't say you have a face for radio?
you know, I thought he said that, and then he was like, "No, that's not what I mean, because that's an insult." And I was like, "Oh, sorry, bro, sorry." So,
I don't know if you. I don't know if you realize this. Clearly, I'm going to be a comedian also pretty soon.
oh, I mean, you already. Oh, you're not? I only brought you on the show because I thought you were fucking funny. What the fuck are you doing here
I
then?
appreciate that.
Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, no, I like Frank said, if you're watching and you don't know what you want to do with your life, or you have an idea, or you have a dream or a goal, just fucking try. You're never gonna know if you try. If
It just doesn't.
or if you don't
It
try.
doesn't.
Sorry.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt, man. It just
Yeah.
really doesn't hurt. I talked to only two people when I had this idea right off the bat, and I just asked them for the Nomads idea, and
Yeah.
I just asked them. I was like, "Is this a crazy idea? Do you think this could potentially work?" And here we are. I mean, 6 weeks later.
Exactly. Exactly. All right. Well, let's get ready to wrap this up. I got more stories out of you than I expected. So thank you, sir. I appreciate
Oh,
that.
of course, man.
And I know you don't do like the visual, like the stuff like this with other people very often. So I really appreciate you appearing. Thank you. It's always good to see your face. We didn't even like crack open the can of worms that's wrestling. That'll have to be a separate episode.
Anytime, yeah.
I know. Trust me. I know. Well, I have a couple questions for you. That's how we're going to wrap this up.
Yeah, yeah.
The first is I want to know your like. I have a lot of people like I've been doing a few conferences here and there, and like I've been trying to open my doors to more people to communicate with me and ask questions and stuff. You know what I mean? One question I get a lot is like, how'd you get into the music industry, or like how do you go from a kid who wants to be in the music industry to being in the music industry? So like, say someone wants to start like trying to tour manage or be a touring crew member, and what give me your best piece of advice for someone in that situation.
So what I did, uh, I mean, I can't say this is going to work. It's just this is my story in
Yeah.
this situation. I worked for somebody like you, who was a promoter in the city that you promoted shows in. So
Yeah.
in my case, it was in Long Island, where I'm originally from.
Hmm.
I just went to so many shows, like an unbelievable amount of shows when I was a teenager,
Yeah.
especially from 8th grade to 12th grade, when I was home a lot before I started really touring.
Yeah.
I went to so many shows that I just would become friends with like the door people and like the promoters and whatnot. And most of the time, it was my friend Charlie. Before we were friends, it was just a guy named Charlie, and he booked all my favorite bands and my favorite shows and all, as a kid. And I just started talking to him and just, oh, good to see you again, man. How you doing? And one day he was just like, hey, man, we have this big show coming up, and I just can't do it all myself. Like, would you mind you if I taught you how to work the door or whatever? I'm like, I'm sure you can count. And I was like, yeah, I could I could count. So I would like work the door for the shows, and I would help do runs for food for like
Yeah.
catering runs and things
Yeah.
like that. And it was just like that guy showed me the ropes right away. But it was because I was nice to the people that I saw all the time. I never asked him for, at least I don't remember asking him for a job, but I didn't ask him for a job. He would pay me what he could every now and again and like buy my food and shit for the day. Like, but I never really asked him for money.
Yeah.
He just taught me how to run a show essentially. And here we are 14 years later, I'm tour managing, which is
Yeah.
essentially running the show. You're the boss of the show in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
So my best advice would just be, if you're looking to get in, don't assume that you're just going to go straight in and like work as a general manager at a venue or something. Like,
Yeah. Gotta
don't
work your way up.
yeah, I mean, there's no reason to be upset with starting at the bottom as maybe a door person, or even like the person who takes the coats at the door, like coat check person. Like,
Yeah.
it's all a matter of just, if you show your dedication for something at a small level, if you're really interested in that field, eventually somebody's going to take notice, and you can go from that to the ticket counter,
Yeah.
that to maybe advertising, to there's so many different jobs within a venue or the music industry in general. It's just, I started from right down here, and 9 times out of 10, you're not going to make a big jump right away.
Yeah.
So that's my best advice. I would always say,
Cool.
try to start early, or try to start small in a venue. Maybe right now, not right now, of course, it's a different situation, but that's how I got into it. I literally just started working the door at a show, at shows for the leading promoter in Long Island for the shows that I was going to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Rad. Yeah, I agree with. I'll ask Frank the next question in a second. I agree with that. I've had a bunch of people in the last like 2 years. Like, if you're a local person watching this, you've seen a lot of the pinup team. Like, all these people in and out. Like, who the hell are these people working for you? Everybody lately, a lot of them have come in like having an expectation, and then they're like, oh, I can't do this role or that role or this job, or like, why don't I get to talk to the bands? Why do you get to do that? And I'm like, well, A, I'm the boss. B, the bands don't know who you are.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So like, they want to interact with me because I'm the one whose name's on the contract. I'm the one giving them the money. You know what I mean? Like, so you definitely, that's like perfect advice, Frank. I love you. That's all I have to say. Okay, next question. Time for the cheese ball ones. What's your favorite color?
That,
Blue or black?
like dark blue. Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
tight. That's the second person that said dark blue. Awesome.
Black's not a color, it's a shade.
You're such a smart ass. I love it. What's your favorite food?
Ooh, it's a toss up between pizza and mashed potatoes.
Okay, I didn't know that about you. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
not
I knew you liked
on
pizza, but not
not
like
on one.
not
Not
the
on
mashed
one.
potato thing. That's the mashed potato thing. That's new. I like that. I like that. Okay.
I
Um,
can't get away from it. It's so
no,
good.
I don't blame dude. Pizza, dude. I worked at. Did you know me when I worked at that pizza place?
I think you've told me about it.
Yeah, so like early days of me being a promoter, I worked at a pizza place for like my day job, and like that's what I did. I just fed the bands fucking gourmet pizza. I smelled like pizza. I probably looked like pizza at some point in time. You know what I mean? So that's awesome. Okay, uh, music. Is there like a new band or an album that just came out or something that you just like can't stop bumping that you just love? Like whether it's like a new band you want to plug or like I don't care if it's the new Eminem CD and you
I'll
just
do
love it.
I'll unless you have a different question about old bands that I like. No? Okay, then I'll do both. I'll do both.
Okay. Okay.
I'm obsessed. It's a CD that I didn't listen to for a really long time, because it just, between computers and whatnot, just got lost somewhere, and it's not online, at least that I've found. It's a band from Norway called Purified in Blood.
I know that name from some of my old friends out here.
It would be an absolute miracle if anybody from that band saw this. So, no disrespect, I don't care about any CD that this band has except for this one. It's called The Reaper of Souls, right? It is unbelievable how good that record is. And I swear to you, nobody on earth knows about it. Like, so few people know about that record. Metal band, they could have easily been in the realm of like a heavier Azalea Dying or it's that realm. It's
Yeah.
early 2000s metalcore, them, and like, I don't have to give you a list, but that's the style. The band is
Okay.
incredible. So that's for old bands that nobody fucking knows. That band is insane on that one record.
Okay.
I listened to that a lot recently because I just got it back. Like, I just found it
Oh,
again.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. All right.
my old guitar player sent me it. He's like, dude, I found it. Here it is. And I was, oh my God. So I've
Yeah.
been listening to that a lot. And then new bands. There's a band from Virginia called Heavens Die.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
that make
Familiar.
that makes me want to just like flip a car over. Like,
Oh wow. Okay.
yeah, I just want to like flip a car with my bare hands whenever I listen to that band.
Not a merch table.
No, because
Sorry, I had to. I had to.
I have more respect for my merchandise
I know.
than that.
I had to. I'm sorry. I've only done that to another merch guy once.
Uh,
Once.
it's such a bummer.
Okay. To be fair, I did it to Don Woodruff. You know Don
Yeah.
because we were at I don't know where we were, but I was hammered and he was throwing pennies from the tip jar at the back of my head. I think it was New England Metal Hardcore Fest at the small room at the Palladium,
Sure, yeah.
and like
Oh,
I had to do
absolutely.
merch up on that balcony.
Yeah.
He was like throwing shit at me from the balcony.
Yep.
So I ran up there and I was we were having a good time. Like I wasn't like angry. Like we were having a good time. And like I remember I think I flipped this merch table over. I'm sure him or one of the thickest blood guys will probably call me out about being wrong about this, but I don't care. That I remember it happening and him being decently mad, but I don't care.
Yeah,
Whatever.
it sucks for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
yeah, Heaven's Die is incredible.
Sick. Okay.
Our mutual friend Sean got me on Static Dress.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Sean just will not stop talking about that
Yeah,
band.
that band is very, very good.
Sean Mott, everybody, for those that didn't figure out who he meant, he'll be a guest on here soon.
Yeah, Sean is he plays well the 15-year anniversary of The World
He
We Knew,
plays
and
bass in the world we knew.
he plays bass in The World We Knew. He was in The World We Knew for a very short period of time.
Yeah,
If we do anything else, who knows? But
yeah. And he just started his own podcast, which we've both been on.
yeah, I talked for 2 hours about wrestling on that
I
thing.
heard. I have not had 2 hours yet to sit down and listen to that fucking episode, but
It's a ride, I'll tell you.
yeah, oh, I'm sure. I'm ready. I just want to be in the right mindset and have all the time in the world because I know that that's going to be redonkulous.
Yeah.
Um,
So
okay, well that's
yeah,
cool. Awesome. So Static Dress and Heaven's Die. I'm familiar with Heaven's Die. Static Dress I haven't actually listened to yet, but
oh yeah,
I'll check out. Okay,
very good.
last question, and then we're done. We're finito. What is equality? Especially like I said, I feel like you know people that are behind the scenes like us, like I have been lucky to be in the spotlight a lot, whether it's because people want to know me so they can get into shows for free, or maybe I am funny and people do like my personality, like whatever it is, like I feel like I've been on the spotlight a little bit more than most behind the scenes people in like at least my local community or like the West Coast.
Yeah.
Um, but you being that too, you know how that goes. I feel like what's something that all these people that interact with you or see you teching or TMing or running VIP, like what's something you wish more people knew about you, like a quality or a trait or something you love?
Wow. I'm learning more about myself now than I think I ever have from not
Okay,
only just having this time off, but I never wanted to be the guy in front of the camera or something like that. And I don't even
okay,
still consider myself to be that. But I'm almost forcing myself to put to be in a spotlight right now of some kind of way to promote this thing.
yeah,
Um, so I don't know. I don't know how it pertains to what I'm doing now, but I'm trying to be more giving as a human in general and more positive, like you said earlier. Because
yeah,
you're right, I'm not a mega PMA dude by any
yeah.
means, and
You're not one of us like fucking left coast dorks, dude. It's fine. I get it, dude.
yeah, I'm not. I'm more like a realistic person, or at least that's how I look at it. I try to look at every situation as like this is the good part, this is the bad part.
Mhm.
It's likely going to be bad. Like that's
Yeah.
kind of how I wired, or how I'm wired.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
during this whole thing with For the Nomads and what we're doing now, I'm trying to rewire my brain to where I'm seeing positive things happen in front of me, even in a world that's full of absolute dog shit right now. And I'm trying to rewire my brain to be like, well, this is working, and it's hard. It's hard to get people on board and hard to do the ideas that we're coming up with to push this thing,
Yeah.
but it's working because a lot of people are getting together to do something good. So
Exactly.
it's showing me that if you utilize your reach and and your access to other people that I may not know, you may not know, etc. Um, we can work as a team to grow something good together, and that's showing me that not everything's a fucking miserable like landscape in front of
Yeah.
you. You know what I mean? I originally, before I had this idea, sat in my room and was absolutely devastated that I wasn't going to tour for the next X amount of months. We didn't know how long, and I still don't know how long,
We
but
still don't. Yeah. Yeah.
um, it's just I was miserable. I was absolutely miserable. I just sat on Twitter reading everybody's bullshit, just upset. And then I had the idea, and it 6 weeks here we are. I'm still working every day to not be upset about what's happening and to use what I have to the best of my ability.
Okay.
So this isn't like you just say something about me that people don't know is I'm not a very happy person. I'm not a positive person most of the time. I have a lot of friends and acquaintances because I'm not a piece of shit, but I'm now
That's
trying to
correct.
do my best to, as a human, as an adult person, just to be a more positive human being and to be a more uh, uplifting soul or something. You know what I mean? Like I don't even know what
Yeah.
to call it because I'm not used to it. So I'm just trying to do something positive here to,
Well, I'm the cheesy one of the two of us, so
yeah,
you're trying to be a beacon of hope.
yeah, I guess
Got you.
I've
Got you.
had a lot of people reach out and say very nice things. So it's kind of just showing me that you don't know who you could reach. You don't know. I don't know a lot of these people that were paying out with these donations,
Yeah.
even though they're in my field and they're technically colleagues of a certain way.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot of these people, so it's just showing me that we can utilize whatever we have for a good reason, not for just ourselves and our monetary gain. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
uh, and I'm learning every day. So
Yeah.
if you don't know anything about me, I'm usually not. I'm fine. You can always approach me, and I'm not gonna like, who the fuck are you? Get away from me! Like I'm not.
Yeah.
I just usually, hi, nice to meet you, and then I'll just shelter myself again and be off to whatever.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to be a different, more outspoken
Yeah.
and positive individual. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. So when tours start happening again, anybody that watches this, if you see Frank, this is what I want you to do. Walk up to him and go, "Oh shit, you're Frank. I saw you on Joel's show. You fucking toured with Hatebreed. That's so fucking sick." At the top of your lungs. You have to just yell that at Frank.
I'll be
That's
very
all I want.
excited to talk
That's
about
all I want.
anything hatred related.
I know you will. That's why I said it. Yeah, man. And I mean, honestly, I think that's a cool. I'm very like kind of put back by that revelation because like you said, like you're helping these people you don't know, but they're technically your coworkers or the same. But like at the same time, there's like that awkwardness in the music industry where like you're talking to more crew members than you ever have. I'm talking to more other promoters than I ever have to see how they're handling this. But when things were normal, like there's always the chance that that other promoter is my competition, just
Yep.
like these other crew members could take a gig from you. So it's like it's really interesting to see how people are changing and how we are having to come together and like learn to work together and do a lot of basically what you just said. So
Yeah, I hope I mean, I don't know what we're going to turn into, what this fundraiser is going to turn into, or anything when this all goes away or things get back to normal. I have no idea. But now I have a database of a lot of really hardworking people in the
yeah.
industry that I could reach out to if I need somebody on my crew.
Well, there's always been the joke. I know if any booking agents or big managers even take the time to watch this, they're going to send me a hate email right now. But like, there's always been the joke about us behind the scenes people doing some sort of our own like union or collective or whatever. You know what I mean? You don't have healthcare. How many other people don't have healthcare? Maybe you can use
Yeah,
this when it's over to flip it into helping figuring out a way for these independent contractors to get affordable healthcare because we all know that doesn't exist.
yeah.
You know,
Hey, uh, I'm if there's one thing that I've learned so far, and even just the first few weeks of this, is that you never know what can happen.
hey, amen to
You,
that, brother.
you never know. So if I have to be the guy to go to bat for it, maybe I will, maybe I won't. It depends on how this pans out.
Fair.
Um, I don't mind if I'm able to help the people and the industry that gave me basically half of my life and half of my memories
Yeah.
and half or maybe even more of the best times of my life, then I don't mind being that person. I'll do my best for anybody involved if I can do so.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's all I wanted. Okay. Well, Frank, I told you this was not going to take this long, and it took this long. So I appreciate you, my man. Thank you so much for coming on. Everybody, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to Frank. He is a great dude. He's a good friend of mine. He is also a good brother. Um, and, you know, Thanks for listening to him tell his story. Thanks for getting to know him unedited a little bit. Thanks for continuing to listen to me babble on. I don't know how I broke 100 subscribers in a month, but thank you for all of those of you that have done that. I was a little distracted this episode with the leaning and the shifty eyes. Sorry, the puppies. We spoil our dog. Most of you have seen it.
The
I was just
cutest
saying, most
dog
of you
ever.
have seen her. She's pretty cute. So she's been a little needy this morning. So I apologize for the lookaways and the door creaking and all that. So, but anyways, it's all good. I'm low budget. I'm doing this at home. No sponsors, no bullshit, no editing, no second takes ever. It's the hardest part about this. I'm gonna fuck up one of these days. But anyways, Frank, thanks for having me. Everybody, Frank's links will all be in the description of the video. The main thing you need to worry about is forthenomads.org. Please check it out. If you are watching this as one of the lovely people in Frank's life and you have no fucking clue who I am, please hit subscribe. If you don't want to subscribe without knowing me, DM me on Twitter. Let's get to know each other. I'm a nice guy. I'm easy to talk to, especially if you love tequila, wrestling, or metalcore. Let's go.
I'm not gonna do any of these things with people I don't like. So
That's fine. I'm not. Oh, no, I'm not telling them to
no,
talk to you. I'm talking to you.
no. I'm not doing any of these things with people I don't like. So I go to bat for you 100%.
That's what you mean. Well, thank you, Frank. I appreciate that. Yeah. All right. Well, everybody, this has been another episode of Joel Cupcake Unedited. 15 minutes or so. We're emphasizing that in every episode, Frank, if you haven't caught on. With Frank Vanelli from The World We Knew and For the Nomads. He's also a badass. Thanks for tuning in, and everybody stay safe.